So now, Lord Krishna is giving this instruction on what this Dharma is. To live your life based on this eternal divine principle. So basing your life on this, you are to keep on operating. At the present moment, what had happened was, Arjuna was in a dilemma and was also confused as to what Dharma is, because he was ego-based. He was ego-based, functioning from his ego point of view. But no, now Lord Krishna is shifting his basis of operation from his ego basis, to his true basis, which is the Atman within. So he wants him to base his life and his functionings from his Atman, from his real nature, So based on his real nature, he is now to function and operate in the world. And this is said to be Dharma Upadesha, to be based on your Atman, on your true nature. Now the next point is, how to be based on this Atman? How to be based? Something very remarkable. Lord Krishna says, in very simple terms, of course it's wonderful to be based in the Atman, but how to be so based? And for that, he gives a very beautiful definition. He says, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. This is the definition for yoga, and the definition which will help you to get established in the Atman. So Samatvam Yoga Uchyate means the state of mental equipoise is said to be the state of yoga. So you must be in a state of mental equilibrium, mental equipoise, wherein you are stable, you are balanced, you are totally balanced. All of you know very well, when you are not balanced, that is very clear. It is whenever you are not balanced, you very well know when you are not. So therefore, when you are balanced, you are centered. You are centered. And when you are centered, you are God-centered. That's the whole secret. That is why he said, the state of mental equilibrium, the state of mental equipoise is said to be the state of yoga. That's a very profound definition given in the Gita for yoga. And what is yoga? Yoga is that which unites you with your divine nature. Yoga means that. It's not turning your legs upside down. That is not yoga at all. But yoga means it's a mental science, it's a spiritual science, and it is basically meant to get you united with your divine nature. And in order to get united with your divine nature, you have to maintain the state of balance, state of equilibrium. So when you are balanced, you are centered. So being centered, now live your life, now operate in the world. Just operate in the world, being balanced, totally balanced. Be centered. Being centered, keep on doing everything that you have to do. Then when you are centered, you are automatically God-centered. That is the whole secret. You don't have to. How many centers do you have? You can only have one center. And therefore, and that one center is not only your center, it's the God center too within you. God, so when you are centered, you are automatically God-centered. If you have to use a religious language, word for that. But otherwise, you are centered in your own Atman, in your true being. You are centered in your true being and now keep on operating. Keep on living your life. It doesn't matter what you do. It does not matter what you do not do. But what is important is that you should be so centered. So therefore, he gave this remarkable definition, samatvam yoga uchyate. This is what Buddha also said as the middle path. This is what Buddha implied by that word middle path. This is that middle. You see? Wherein you are centered. Now when you are centered, then one more thing you have to do. You have to become aware. As you are centered, now become aware. Because why should you become aware? Because you have forgotten. You have forgotten the Atman. You have forgotten your true being. Since you have forgotten your true being, therefore the only thing that you should do now is to become aware of it. So being centered, be aware and keep on function. Keep on function. So therefore Krishna gave this very simple process, because the way to salvation is very simple if you understand. Very simple. Two things complicate the whole thing. Two things I tell you. One is religions have come and complicated the whole thing. The second thing, do you know what has come and complicated it? Philosophy. Schools of doctrines have also come and complicated it. That is why in the Bhagavad Gita there is no philosophy there. He is not a philosophical treatise there. In the Bhagavad Gita, no, the Upanishads talk of philosophy. They don't talk because at the most you can subscribe to a school of philosophy. That's about it. No more than that. You can belong to a theological doctrinal school. That's it. No more, but it will not lead you to enlightenment. And you will be still processing with a doctrine. With a doctrine. And God is not a doctrine. Atman is not a doctrine. It is something which you have to become aware. And in order to become aware of this, you have to leave all doctrines alone. Why? Because all these doctrines are only indicating to you that there is something beyond the doctrines, or they are sort of leading you to that, but drop the doctrines alone. Don't mess with it. Don't mess with them. And that is why in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Upanishads, there is no doctrine there. There is only presentation of certain truths. Certain truths. And those truths have to be understood. The truths of life. And the first truth is that, the profound truth is that you are the Atman, which is the divine. The divine is there within you. The Atman. And the way to get to the Atman. Now also, what is that nature of the... Now in order to be aware of the divine, now we have used the word aware. Now in order to be aware of the divine, you must try to understand what the divine is. What it is. So Lord Krishna says this in the Gita. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam abhikaryoyam uchyate. That means, in the second chapter itself he states, Avyaktoyam, it cannot be made manifest to you by your instruments of knowing, by your senses, by your mind, by your intellect. You cannot grasp it. It cannot be made manifest to you. Just like when you see the flower here, it's manifest to your mind and you know that it's a flower with its form and configuration. But the divine nature is such, the divine is such, or the Atman is such, that you cannot comprehend it with your mind. So if you cannot comprehend it with your mind, what should you do with your mind? What should you do? Let go the mind. Drop the mind, let go the mind. So, do you need a philosophy to let go the mind? No, just let it go. Just drop it. Just let it go. Leave the mind severely alone. Like dropping a red hot potato. Just leave it. So, avyaktoyam achintyoyam. Achintya means it cannot be thought of. You can't think of it. Of course, you know, you only use your mind to think. So, if you cannot, since you can't think of it, it's unthinkable. So, therefore, the only way to think of it is not to think. So, in order not to think, so you have to let go the mind. You have to release the mind. With all concepts, all notions, all philosophies, have to drop it out. That is why a good many wise men were totally illiterate. It was easy for them because they were not dabbling in scholarship and philosophies. So they could straight away get to the mark, get to the point. So all that they did was they dropped their mind, they let go their mind. Because with the mind you cannot grasp it, you cannot know it. So because it is unthinkable. So therefore, the only way to think of it is not to think of it. As simple as that. As simple as that. So keep quiet. Keep quiet. So, in order to keep quiet, do you need any philosophy for that? No. Once you realize the futility of keeping quiet, keep quiet. The hardest thing to do. So, achintyoyam, and when you keep quiet, and when you are quiet, then also one more word he has used. Avikaryoyam. Do not. That divine by nature does not undergo any modification. Does not undergo any change. It can neither increase nor decrease. In no way can it modify itself into anything. Therefore, what should you do? What should you do? You also keep quiet and don't bring in any modification in your mind. That's the whole thing. Just keep quiet. Don't allow the mind to modify itself. Avikara. Get into any other forms of modifications. Sustain this state as much as you can. So thereby he has given the clue for meditation. This is the clue for meditation. So therefore in the 6th chapter also he says, Lord Krishna, having established the mind in the Atman, don't think of anything. No kinchit apichintaye, don't think. Don't think. Keep quiet. So here also is the same thing. Keep quiet. One young man went to a teacher for a teaching. He said, give me a direct teaching. I want to know the truth. Tell it to me straight away. So the teacher said, keep quiet. The young man was offended. He said, I went to him for a teaching and he now tells me keep quiet. Then he went about wondering to himself, what type of teacher is this telling me to keep quiet? Then depend on him with the explanation of others, that is a secret. To keep quiet. To be mentally quiet. Keep quiet means to be mentally quiet. When you are mentally quiet, you know what has happened? You have become alive. Alive to the Atman. You have become aware of the Atman. You have become aware of the Atman. Previously you had forgotten it. You had forgotten it. You blindly went about living your life in the world. So now, all that you need, a little bit of re-education, is only to become aware of it. To just that's all. Silently become silent to all phenomena. All phenomena around you, become silent to them and become aware of it. Become silently aware of the Atman. Without thinking. Don't think of anything at that time. And then when you do that, you are thinking of it or you are becoming aware of it. So this is the crux of what he said. That on the chapter of the 6th chapter, the chapter which deals with meditation. So he is telling you, be centered, be centered. And when you are, the whole entire Bhagavad Gita is giving you a teaching on being centered, on being centered.